you can't get rich by renting out your time. Is there really any other way to get rich? Yeah, I mean, if I had to summarize how to make money, at least from what I've learned in life, you have to, you basically get rewarded by society for giving it what it wants, and it doesn't know how to get elsewhere. And a lot of people think you can go to school and you can study for how to make money, but the reality is there's no skill called business. What you're actually trying to figure out is what product or service does society want but does not yet know how to get. And you want to become the person who delivers that and delivers it at scale. So that's really the challenge in how to make money. And now the problem is if you can't learn how to do it, then how do you become good at it, whatever it is? And what it is moves around generation to generation, but a lot of it happens to be in technology. And so it's a form of what I think the Austrian economists used to call specific knowledge that only you know or only a small set of people know. And it's basically going to come out of your passions and your hobbies, oddly enough. So if you have hobbies around intellectual curiosity, you're more likely to develop these passions, and you're more likely to develop skill sets that society does not yet know how to train other people how to do. Because if it can train other people how to do something, then it can replace them. And if it can replace them, then it doesn't have to pay them a lot. So you want to know how to do something that other people don't know how to do at the time period when they want it. So for example, like you might be interested in programming for computers, and you're into really esoteric deep learning algorithms, and it doesn't really matter until society assembles large enough data sets, enough computing machines, that the AI revolution shows up. And then all of a sudden your hobby turns into specific knowledge. And then you want to take that specific knowledge and you want to be known as the person who can deliver that. So you have to have a brand and a reputation. And the most powerful brands and reputations in the world are individual brands like Oprah, Trump, Cher, like single names, Naval. To some extent I'm trying to build a little bit of that brand accidentally. But if you have a unique name, if you can brand yourself in a unique way, and that branding doesn't come for free, that has accountability on the other side of it. So you're taking risks with brand. You get attacked, you fail, you can have problems. You're really sticking your neck out there. So you basically have to have specific knowledge. You have to take on accountability with a brand. And the last piece of making money is you have to have leverage. Leverage is critical. Leverage, Archimedes famously said, give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I will move the earth. And that was a very powerful statement. What he was basically saying is the power of leverage. And humans are not evolved to understand leverage. Our evolutionary past maps inputs to outputs. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So, for example, if I'm chopping trees and I'm like harvesting wood to go start a fire, then basically if I put in 8 hours chopping wood, that's probably going to get me 8 times the output that I would get from 1 hour of chopping wood. Whereas with leverage, I might have bulldozers or chainsaws, or I might have lumberjacks working with me. And so if I make the right decision on how to cut down the wood, how to store it, how to ship it and transport it, I get a multiplier effect. And it's very important to understand the different kinds of leverage that are available, because if you want to make money, you need that specific knowledge, you need that accountability, and now you're going to need to use whichever form of leverage best applies to your situation. And there are 3 broad classes of leverage. One form of leverage is going to be labor, which is the oldest form of leverage, which is other humans working for you. And that's actually not a great one in the modern world. It used to be great in the old world, but in the modern world, people are onto it, so everyone's always playing a status game and trying to become the lead monkey in the tribe. And so having people work for you is a difficult form of leverage. Then there's capital, which is a more recent invention. It's only about a few thousand years ago. It goes back to the agricultural age, and so that's money. And so if you have money as a form of leverage, that's a good one. It means like every time you make a decision, now you multiply this with money, and that's why fund managers and venture capitalists and so on seem to do well. And then the final form of leverage is a brand new form of leverage, and that's like the most democratizing one. And that is products that have no marginal cost of replication. So that would include books, it would include media, it would include movies, it would include code. And code is probably the most powerful form of leverage that is permissionless. All you need is a computer. You don't need anyone's permission. So if you want to make the maximum amount of money possible, like if you just want to get rich over your life and you want to do it in a deterministic, predictable way, what you would do is you would basically stay on the bleeding edge of trends, and you would study technology and yes, design and art and things that you think, and you would become really good at something. You would basically be waiting for your moment until something emerged in the world where they needed that skill set, and you're uniquely qualified. You would build your brand in the meantime on Twitter, on YouTube, by giving away free work so people have heard of you. You would make a name for yourself, and you would take some risks in the process. And then, when it was time to move in on that opportunity, you would do so with leverage, the maximum leverage possible. And the maximum leverage would mean that you would have people working for you. It would mean you would have a fund, or you would have capital. It would mean that you would be writing a book. It would mean that you would be writing code, and that you would be building a media presence. Basically, what I'm doing, I'm kind of doing it more by accident. I actually don't really care that much, honestly. I'm more of an intellectual. I learned how to make money because it was a necessity. After it stopped being a necessity, I stopped caring about it. Every time, I look at some of my colleagues in Silicon Valley who are working really, really hard and have made lots of money, but they continue working hard, and I see them like then donating like hospital wings, and I just think, oh, that person overshot. Like they just, at some point, it would have been logical to stop, or unless they really enjoyed it, in which case, God bless you, do whatever you want. But at least for me, work was a means to an end, and making money was a means to an end. But fundamentally, I'm much more interested in solving problems than I am in making money.